government is business. It's just on a global scale, right? But we have Mark Cuban and Trump, and he made some interesting comments here recently. Of course, Mark Cuban saying Trump doesn't put himself around any intelligent women. And I don't know, Ruby, do we have the video that we could play for them?
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them. And, you know, Nikki Haley will call him on his nonsense with reproductive rights and how he sees and treats and talks about women. I mean, he just can't have her around. It wouldn't work.
I think Stormy is intelligent. I don't think that's 100%.
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy.
He means is like
power on stage.
Yes.
I'm not laughing at porn stars at large. Anybody who's seen Stormy Daniels talk, she might be many things, a nice person, a good actress.
Very good actress.
But was
She's
that a joke?
not smart.
No, that was serious.
No, they were being serious.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say...
it was meant as an insult to Trump.
I was looking at it as an insult to Trump because I wasn't saying Stormy Daniels, but I would say as a woman who's also intelligent, a few things, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. But Mark Cuban saying this, Mark Cuban has found himself at a time where many strong businessmen, you think of Jamie Dimon, you think of Elon Musk, you think of all of these individuals who have much power, great businesses, aligning with Trump. He's doing the polar opposite. And I see it as, one, his ego, because when you have people like an Elon Musk who's doing far better than Mark Cuban, who's done great for himself in business, don't get me wrong. But then you have Trump, who Patrick said is the trifecta, right? He won in business, he won in TV with The Apprentice, and then he became the president. To certain men, that hurts their ego, that they weren't that, right? So he has to be the polar opposite. And Trump is, on the other note, you have what? Kellyanne Conway, you have Elena
Bahaba.
Yes.
Oh, fierce lawyer.
Fierce. And she's a woman, she's intelligent. You have Ivanka Trump, you have McEnany, all of these women who are around Trump, because at the end of the day, when you look at Trump, if you've ever gone to Trump Tower, if you've gone to Mar-a-Lago, you see women everywhere. When he came to PBD Podcast, women were with him. So for Mark Cuban, it's like, is it the ego, or is it also, I just want to align myself so strongly with Kamala Harris that if she were to win, I can be in a position of power? Because
it's even simpler with Cuban. He's describing himself. I mean, he's not describing Trump. He's confessing to his own sins because that's how he sees the world. I mean, the amount of smart women around Trump, you sort of feel like an idiot even trying to count smart women. I don't know what dumb women have been around Trump. I don't know what dumb people have been around Trump. I mean, not ones that he hasn't fired, like Mark Bolton and a number of the other guys. But when you understand that Cuban is describing himself, and it's not just that Trump is succeeded in politics, entertainment, and, geez, what was the third one? Business. He's also succeeded as a father, as a parent.
Yes.
I was just Googling to see, like, you know, if Mark Cuban is divorced and what the situation with his family is. Trump has raised, whether you like him or not, wonderful, functional, successful kids. And so Trump is really...
All of them.
Yeah. He might have been divorced twice and whatever, you know, not everybody. A lot of people get divorced. But Trump is really, in many ways, a role model in ways that Mark Cuban will never be. But Mark Cuban's just an idiot. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
The problem is that it's impossible for Trump to surround himself with strong, intelligent women according to the leftist standards, because supporting Trump to them is a sign of being stupid and weak. And honestly, the only time I've ever seen Trump surrounded by weak, unintelligent women was right after he got shot, when all the female Secret Service agents were dive bombing him and hunkering down below his head. But other than that, like you just listed, he has a lot of very intelligent, high-functioning women who are in positions of authority within his administration, his campaign, and his companies. But they would never admit to that. You have to call them stupid because they support Trump. So you can't lift up women if you're tearing down Trump.
Well, what is a woman? This is the same party that can't even define what an actual woman is, and then they're going to get out there and say that he doesn't have enough strong women around him. But then at the end of the day, they don't know what a woman actually is.
And let's break down. Tell, I want to know, because I'm sorry to cut you off. What, guys, I always go to the, why you said like it's him. He's basically describing himself. Let's take a step back. Is he a multi-billionaire?
Mark Cuban?
Mark Cuban.
He's worth $5 billion.
$5 billion. He owned the Mavericks. He's out there. You know what it is? Who's talking about it? If this isn't happening with him, nobody's talking and nobody cares.
Well, they might, because he might have had some connection, however distant, to P. Diddy. He might make it back into the news.
P. Diddy, I don't know, but what makes someone like that come out and, mind you, say ignorant? By the way, he's smart, like you said. The guy's educated, bro. Don't get it twisted. This isn't just some schmuck. You don't become a billionaire unless you won the lottery 5 times over to get to this point.
Yeah.
There's something happening. I don't know what somebody either has on him or he knows that he's not relevant, so he needs to talk. But think about it. There's no other fight to be relevant. He can't go pro-Trump because Trump not only wrote him a letter when his show didn't work. What was the show called?
Was it Shark?
The Benefactor. And he's like, listen, I'm sorry that you're... By the way, Trump is such a troll. He goes, I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart that your shitty, horrible, unsuccessful show didn't work. If you ever need advice, come to me and I'll give you advice. And then number one, and then this came from Mark Cuban. He was on Letterman, I guess. And he told that story, Rob, where he's like, you know what Trump did to me once? He's like, I'm at this party, Mar-a-Lago, whatever it was. And he goes, there's all these rich people. And Trump goes up to me and goes, hey, man, you see all those rich people up there? Maybe one day you'll be able to go there and hang out with them. So that stings and that stays with you. But there's a lot going on with Mark. I think jealousy is playing a big part of it. I think it's irrelevancy. Like, nobody would be talking about you. They talk about every other billionaire. Every other billionaire is getting talked about except him.
I think it might be a long shot investment in the event that Kamala Harris does get elected. He's trying to invest in getting the good graces to be head of whatever department. But the bottom line, there was something about Mark Cuban that I was just about to say. It's going to come back in a second.
When it does come back, I would say I think ego is the enemy in this case. You know what I mean? Like, he's allowing the pride, like you were saying, all of those things stack up to it. And at the same time, as a woman, there's nothing that's more annoying than a man sitting up there and saying, there's not enough intelligent women over here.
In his jet, by the way. He's in his private jet. I don't know if you noticed that.
It's like, at the end of the day, the only glass ceiling above women is the one they put above themselves. You know, I work for a company with Patrick and everyone else. If you do what you need to do, I mean, the other person who's running for president is a woman. If you come through, you do what you do, and you're good at what you do, you develop the skill, you're intelligent, you're going to make it to wherever you want. So I don't need Mark Cuban telling me not to vote to Trump because there's not enough intelligent women around
You
him.
just triggered the memory. It's Mark Cuban
I did that just for you.
Mark, they show their deep-rooted misogyny and racism. You get Joe Biden saying, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black, and he had to use that rhetoric. You got Mark Cuban saying he doesn't surround himself with smart women. When we get to my clip, they show that they have no respect for their constituents, except in as much as they can get their votes out of them. And if they don't, if they deviate, then they fit into whatever trope. They're race traitors, they're sex traitors, and it just shows their underlying racism, bigotry, misogyny, and discriminatory perspective of the world.
And did you see what he said? Nikki Haley is able to stand up to him about reproductive rights. So if you don't agree with them on abortion, then you're not an intelligent woman.
That's exactly my point. You have to be relentlessly pro-abortion to be considered an intelligent woman by the left, because they've determined the only legislative priority a woman is allowed to have is the ability to kill her own children. And if you don't support that, you're an idiot.
100%. It's like, what?
I feel like I'm going flipping crazy. Nikki Haley, the strong woman, she endorsed Trump. And with a strong, I'm just going to a CNN article from July. Nikki Haley offers her, quote, strong endorsement of Trump in convention speech. I mean, these guys, there's no standards. They have no morality, no logic, no intellectual consistency. They just say whatever they think needs to be said in the moment in order to browbeat people into submission.